the box opened and you jumped out as a vegan. I'm mostly vegan, but, and the other one says, if there's a but, you're not vegan. You cannot be limited by dogma. For some reason, we have to have an opinion about everything, even if we don't know shit about that dogma. So, let's go over these 4 things. Let's start with open-mindedness. I have not been vegan forever, and I think most of you haven't been either. I've been vegan for 25 years, but 25 years of my life before that I was not vegan. And I compare that to living in a box. Living in a box called carnism. Have you heard of the term carnism? From Melanie Joy. So carnism is the idea that we can eat certain animals, not others. And if you were living in the carnism box, it means that you were not really questioning things. You were just eating meat, you were just eating what your parents gave you. You were not thinking about animals, you were not thinking about what was right, what was wrong. Just a normal citizen eating a normal diet. You were in the box limited your thinking. But at some point, you got a little restless, and then the light went on and the box opened and you jumped out as a vegan. Right? Something like that. And you started to talk about other people, to talk to other people about these wonderful advantages, these benefits of being vegan, health, environment, animals, whatever. And then, what I found for myself, and maybe you can realize for yourself either, then I found myself at some point in another box. And I called this the box of veganism. And this is another box because, again, it is a system, an ideology that can limit our thinking. And we can recognize that we're in a box when we have certain fixed answers to certain questions. We have fixed definitions. A vegan is this, and a meat eater is that, and veganism, that's the definition of veganism, etc., etc. It's a bit like this cartoon. One guy says, or one dude or being says, I'm mostly vegan, but, and the other one says, if there's a but, you're not vegan. You are not really allowed to ask questions. I don't know if you've seen discussions online about what is vegan and what is not, and who is vegan and who is not, and what is veganism and what is not. And when I see that, these discussions online, I often see people use a certain solution to solve the discussion. And what they do is they go back to 1944. 1944 is when Donald Watson, who coined the term veganism, defined it and wrote it down and started a vegan society. And so people say like, well, Donald Watson in 1944 said that veganism is blah, blah, blah. And yeah, sometimes this helps, but this attitude reminds me of something. It's like going back to scripture. Let's look at what scripture says about a certain thing. It's a religious attitude. And I don't think that we want that. I don't think that's ideal. I think that very obviously, if you are in a box, it's better to be in this box than in this box. But it's still better to be in no box at all. That your thinking is free. Basically, being vegan means giving up animal products. It doesn't mean giving up thinking. Thinking is allowed. You're allowed to think about anything. Okay? What we have to be very careful with or afraid of is dogma. In the world, but also in the vegan movement. Dogma is the idea that we have definite answers to certain questions. That the answers have been given forever. And that we don't have to investigate them anymore. And why is dogma so dangerous? Because it prevents us from improving. And we have to keep improving. Because we want to convince, I assume you want that too, we want to convince, to influence 8 billion people to change their diets. Or almost 8 billion people, some are vegan already. And that is an incredible challenge, of course. And so we have to get better and better at it. We have to communicate better and better. We have to get better and better strategies. And for that, we cannot be limited by dogma or by rules about how we should talk or how we should think. So, continue to improve is paramount. Some tips here, or some questions that can make you see or help you see if you are, to some extent, maybe not entirely open-minded. You could wonder about, is there any information that you're missing? You never have all the information about something. Is there any biases, any prejudices that you have? Have you thought about topics really thoroughly, or are you just accepting what everybody around you is thinking? And you could also practice what I call slow opinion. Slow opinion means that you're going to be slow in forming an opinion about something. So for instance, if you're discussing online or in real life, somebody else says something, and instead of saying like, this is what I think about that, you would say like, I haven't thought about that enough. Can you maybe send me some more information? I will read that and I'll get back to you, and maybe tomorrow I have an opinion. You could say that, this is my preliminary opinion, but I could update it later maybe. Or you could say, I have no opinion, I'm not informed enough, right? Many people never do that, certainly not politicians, right? People want to pretend they know everything about everything. We have to have an opinion, for some reason we have to have an opinion about everything. Even if we don't know shit about that topic, right? So, here are, just this, of course, you don't have to like, think about everything. Some things it's perfectly safe not to believe. You don't have to believe that Hillary Clinton is a baby-eating alien or demon or something, right? So some things, it's fine to trust the experts on or to follow your common sense. Hi.